In this example, we're going to write a script that will look inside a directory, searching within files to locate a word pattern in the content of those files, such as a certain word, a certain character sequence. So we're going to find out how to write such script. All right, at first, let's prompt the user to enter for us a search directory. Enter search directory, read directory. Also, enter a word pattern to search and read W pattern or word pattern. Finally, we're gonna ask the user also to provide us with extensions of files to look for, so that we won't look into all the extension of files because you have the JPEG, MP4. Such files are not applicable in the case of searching a word pattern. So echo enter a file or file extensions separated by comma, of course, separator equal comma, and read extensions. Now, after reading extensions, we need to also split those extensions based on that separator, which is the comma, and fill them into an array. But before that, let's at first check if the user had entered a directory. If not, we need to provide a default directory, which would be the current directory. So if $directory is equal to empty string, then we'll give him the directory as being the current directory, okay, designated by a dot. Also, if the extensions are an empty string, then in such case we need to provide default extensions. So default extensions would be txt and pdf, okay, without the dot, by the way. We're gonna add the dot later. So now we need to separate these extensions. All right, so at first let's designate the separator. So ifs, or which is like file separator, is equal to comma, and we're gonna fill all the elements within extensions within an array based on that separator, which is the comma. So in order to do that, read -ra, okay, so read based on the separator recursively and fill the array. We're gonna call it array simply, and we use that symbol to redirect file, or in such case the variable we are looking into, which is extensions. So $extensions. So if I type find dot, it will find everything under desktop, right, within the directory which is desktop. Now if I need to designate only the search for certain file extensions, meaning while excluding JPEG and MP4, so this is how we do it. Let's clear. Again, find dot, then I redirect to grep -p, and then /dot.txt and $sign, meaning that all the files that end with .txt, pipe, which means here all the files that end with PDF, and I insert after PDF the $sign. And you see it only located the PDF files and the TXT files. So if I redirect it to another command, it will only search these files. And this is what we're gonna do over here. This is what we're talking about. So let's copy this part here so that you would understand how we're gonna split and reformat TXT and PDF within a filter, which is this filter, okay? But I will place it inside a variable. Paste. All right. So we're gonna loop within the array, the newly created array, to extract TXT, PDF, whatever is on the inside, and then reformat them into a sentence like this, which we will fill it inside a filter variable. So for I equals 0, I less than the size of the array, which is gotten this way. $, we open two curly braces, and hash, the name of the array, and the @ which will give us the size of the array, okay? I++, do, done. All right, within the for loop, So at first, you need to know something. All of the elements up to the last one should have a pipe symbol right after them so that we can include the next extension and the next and the next, okay? Except the last one within the sentence or within the string should not have the pipe or we generate an error, okay? So we need, let's say I need another extension or I have placed another extension, for instance, JPEG. You would have a pipe after PDF $sign and then JPEG. But JPEG, since it is the last element, it won't have a pipe. All right. So if and we need to declare the separator which is for here, which is either pipe or empty string. Okay, let's declare it in the above. So sep equal empty string. Now if $I, which is the index of the array, okay, is equal to the last index, meaning equal to the size minus 1. Size of the array minus 1 is the last index. Dollar, two curly braces, hash array at minus 1 would give you the last index of the array. So if I is equal to that last index, then what we do is separator would be equal to empty string, okay? Otherwise, or else, the separator would be a pipe, all right? Finally, the filter, and let's declare the filter here on the top. Filter equal empty string. So after phi, the filter will be equal to the original value of the filter because we're appending, right? Then we add to it / dot and the element of the array that has been extracted, which is $, two braces, array, and instead of add, I need to insert $I, which is the index of the array. Then after that, I add the $, which is a part of the regular expression, meaning it ends with .txt, .pdf, etc. After that, I need to add the separator, the value of the separator. If it is the last element, it would be empty string. Otherwise, it would be a pipe. Another thing that I need to do is that all the files that are being searched, I need to save them inside a file locally saved, okay? I'm gonna save that file that contains all the findings of the files that match txt or PDF in such case. So all the file locations would be saved inside that file, okay? So that we can access that file later, read them line by line, and then each line, which has the full path of the file, will be searched uniquely or would be searched separately in order to try to find the word pattern we're looking for, all right? So let's start doing that. At first, I need to save the results of searching the files, which is something like that, by the way. I want to save them inside a file having a unique name so that we won't overwrite something already existing, okay? So the unique name will carry the timestamp of the current time, which is hour, 2 digits, minutes, 2 digits, and seconds, 2 digits. Let's see how to get the timestamp. Okay, so if I clear, and if I get the timestamp, how to get it? So if I type date, it will give me all that string, which includes day, month, day of the month. And by the way, here you have 2 spaces. So if I cut using the cut command, if I split the string, the separator would be a space. In such case, since you have 2 spaces here, it will give you 2 fields instead of 1. To give you an idea what I'm talking about, so if I type date, then cut -d, empty space, dash, let's get the field 1, the day of the month. Field 2, September. Field 3, you would think it would be 9, right? It gave me space. Why? Because you have 2 spaces here, not 1. So F4 would give me the day of the month, and F5 would give me the time. Date, pipe cut -d space -F5, it gave me the current time. Now I need to split from that current timestamp the current symbol in order to assign this value to the file that will store all the locations or all the files searched, whether txt or PDF. So date pipe cut dash d empty space dash F5, and then I redirect it to another command which is string editor. The string editor, and this is how it is formatted: the start of the string /, then another /, another /, and G. Now, why I have spaced them out? To explain something: that between the first two /, you place the string to replace. Okay, the string that we need to replace, or the character that we need to replace. Now, in the second placement, which is the second / and the last one, write the replacement. Here I need to simply replace the colon with an empty string. I need to cut out the colon. So this is how we do it. We place colon here, and here we leave it empty, meaning that remove the colon and replace it with nothing. So if I tap enter, and you see I have the current timestamp without any colon. I will copy it and will assign it to a variable called timestamp. So timestamp equal two backward apostrophes, paste, to create a temporary file. Okay, I will name the temp file tmp underscore $timestamp. Alright, so let's look inside the directory for the file types provided by the user, whether txt, pdf, or whatever has been provided that we reformatted inside a filter. Okay, so we're looking based on the filter, and whatever results are found will be stored inside the temporary file that we named here. So find $directory dash type F, meaning that we're looking for file types, pipe grep dash P, and here we're gonna filter out based only on the extensions provided by the user, which is this filter here that will have this formatting. So in this example here, it will only look for txt and pdf. Alright, so $filter. Also, we redirect the results into a file that will be created instantly inside the directory / tmp file.txt, and we also can concatenate .txt. Okay, it will be a text file. So once we've stored that file, what we're gonna do is look into it and read it line by line to search for each line, which is a file name and a file location, for the word pattern we're looking for. At first, if we run it, we're gonna get a new file created based on this timestamp, by the way. Finder.sh, search a directory. Okay, let's take the default, and you see we have a new file created. We have a new file created that contains the list of all the files with their location within the current directory. I need to read the content of this file that contains the list of whatever is available inside the directory that matches the extensions, right? I need to read it line by line in order to search for a specific pattern in these files. Each file, of course, being represented in one line within this temporary file.txt. While read-r line, we'll call it line, do done, we are redirecting the file, which is under directory, by the way, / tmp file.txt, to the while loop, and that while loop will loop through all the lines, and for each line we're gonna try to grab the file associated with that line in order to find a specific word inside that file. We're gonna insert inside a variable, we'll call it seek grep-nr. So grep for me the line number and search recursively for word pattern that the user will enter. Okay, let's place it inside two double quotes, W pattern within that line, so $line, which is the file we're searching inside. Alright, so to give you exactly an example what is happening here, if I type clear and ls, okay, so we have story.txt. If I type cat story.txt, you will see all the lines we have inside that file, right? These are, by the way, novels. Okay, these are novels created or written by multiple authors. So let's say I'm looking for Mark Twain. If I clear grep-nr, so list for me the line number and search recursively for Mark Twain, and then the name of the file we're looking for, let's say story.txt. You have 3 matches, okay, on the 3rd line and on the 4th line. This is what we're doing here. While is looping through this temporary file that contains all the files that are compatible with TXT and PDF extensions, and for each line or for each file we are filling the seek variable with the return of this command. If the seek variable contains an empty string, it means that no match has been found, otherwise, so there's a hit, and then we can display that hit. Okay, if $seek, and this is how we write it, contains, if $seek equal or contains W pattern, the word pattern we're looking for, then that's a variable, by the way, we called it found, equal $line, which is the file in which it has been found, colon, and $seek. Okay, so line, the line in which, or the file in which that pattern has been found, and $seek, which contains, by the way, the line match or the line number and the actual pattern inside that pattern. So let's say you have here, okay, and by the way, I attached to seek the line. So here, let's say I want to check what is the position of the word that has been matched within this sentence. Okay, so here the position is 0, but how to actually get the position in case we don't know it? Okay, how to make the script count after how many characters this word pattern has been located. We're gonna fill inside the phrase found. Okay, so if I try, phrase equal, and I'm gonna echo the value of found redirected into another command which will use a separator, cut -d, and then colon -f3. By the way, because you have, as you see, we formatted the found line based on line and whatever comes after. So you have at first the file location, then the line number, and then the sentence, okay, the phrase. So it is at field 3. So this is what I'm talking about. Let's say story.txt, colon, line 3, colon, this is, let's say, Mark Twain. This is the match. So it's located on the 3rd field, right? This is the 1st field, 2nd field is the line number, and this is the 3rd field. I need to acquire the position of Mark Twain within that sentence, as if you're getting the position of an element within a string array. I echo the found result, which is this argument, to cut -d, separator being, or delimiter being the column, get me the field 3. After that, position is equal to $phrase, then 2 percentage symbols, and W, finally star. In other words, let's say, okay, -nr Mark Twain. So you have it here, okay? So if I cut it, or if I redirect it to cut -delimiter, colon, -f3, you will get the last argument, which starts with Mark Twain. Now, if I need to get the position, pose or phrase is equal to this value, let's see if it works, then, okay, echo $phrase, percentage, okay, pattern, or pattern here, I need to define the pattern. Okay, so the pattern is Mark. Let's say Mark. And start, it should give me, you see, it's empty string. Why? Because it starts with Mark. Okay, but if I need to get, instead of Mark, let's say the adventures of Huckleberry. Okay, let's write Huck. You see, it gave me all the characters before the occurrence of Huck. In order to get the position of Huck, I simply need to count the number of these characters. So index equal $, hash, and position, meaning count for me the number of characters that come before the pattern is found, which is this, all the characters here. Pose equal without this character here, because it's not a command, and echo $pose, and you see it gave us the position of this string. The index, I need to actually also append it to found, and after, like, I will append it to the found result, which is the line you've seen before, but will place between it and the last and the tail of the line another column. So I'm gonna write found equal $found and column and the index at the end, and we can echo the result here, echo $found. Finder.sh, Okay, the directory will be the same one. Let's say Tom Sawyer, which is a story within story.txt file. File extensions, enter, it will get the default extensions provided here, okay? TXT and PDF. So enter, and you see Mark Twain, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. Okay, the position is 0. Actually, it should be more than 0. Yeah, and by the way, this is the file created temporarily. So let's get Tom Sawyer here. Yeah, it should not be the first position, okay? Another thing we need to pay attention to is that this variable is word pattern, W pattern, not pattern. Okay, because if we continue, it will find nothing since pattern is empty as a variable. It has been initialized. But W pattern is the one provided by the user at the beginning of the program. So if I run it again, directory is local, word pattern would be Tom Sawyer, file extension by default TXT and PDF, and you see it found The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. Tom Sawyer beginning at the 31st character, sentence, Mark Twain, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. This is where he looked. That's why we cut this finding, this sentence, and we used the delimiter, which is colon, and selected the field 3. Third field is this phrase here, and it counted all the characters all the way up to where Tom Sawyer begins. It is 31 characters. Alright, another thing we can do is reformatting the result being outputted to the command line, which is this one. So at first, let's get rid of all of this part to rewrite what has been found. Okay, I'm gonna split everything that has been outputted into directory, then line number, the sentence, then the position in the sentence. Okay, directory, I will call it direct, equal to echo $found, then we're gonna cut using the delimiter, which is colon, and extract the first field. That would be this one, okay? Directory name. Line num, okay, to distinguish it from the variable above, equal echo, the same way, okay, echo found, cut, -d, delimiter being colon, -f2. To get the sentence, that would be the third argument, so I'm gonna copy and paste, and instead of the second field, it will be the third field. We will call it phrase. To get the position of the word pattern inside the phrase, pos equal to $phrase to percentage and W pattern, and the index is equal to $position. That would give me the actual position in number, okay, instead of giving me all the characters leading to that pattern. We type echo file. So file, let's call it F, then okay, we can place it inside the string, I believe, line num $phrase, and finally index $index. We're gonna save it, clear, search directory, the same word pattern, Tom Sawyer extension, and you see file story.txt, line 4, phrase Mark Twain, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, and the index is 41. Also, another thing, lest we forget, as you see, each time the program is running, it is keeping the search result for the files, not the word pattern, inside a text file here, right? That is uniquely identified by the current timestamp as TMP033851. If you open it, you have all the results of the files that are located. So I need to get rid of them right after the program had run. In order to do that, I simply type at the end $tmp file, and of course it is based on the directory in which it is located, / then .txt. So let's save it and let's remove whatever we already have on the desktop. They all start with tmp, so they have been removed. If I run the script again, finder.sh, search directory Tom S for Sawyer. Okay, so you see the file has been created and then removed immediately. Alright, and by the way, if you need to insert all the results within a file, the results of the word patterns, you can redirect the echo into another file here. Let's say I can name it, let's say n file or results underscore and $timestamp. And we need here to append, so I need to replace the greater than by 2 greater than symbols.